It's the Two Gems Podcast.
Are we weird now?
Nope.
We're weird now.
I'm still chewing. Wow.
Our relationship is completely crumbled. We don't communicate anymore.
Yeah. Hey. How are you?
I'm good, babe. How are you doing?
Is that one of your new hats? One of the plenty? I haven't seen that one yet.
You haven't seen this hat? It's
No.
a Christmas one. It's a Christmas hat.
Like a Christmas present from me under the tree?
Something like that. Who else does this? Who else listening right now does the thing where like you're at an age where you have everything and you know yourself the best, so it's like just buy your own gift and write your spouse's name on it, put it under the tree?
Who else, like Matt, opens them and looks at them before Christmas Day? I was so mad.
About what?
Well, you had bought yourself a couple things.
Yeah.
From what I believe, it was shoes, knives, and hats. And every single parcel that came into the house, you opened before Christmas. That's cheating. It is. For example, this beautiful bracelet that I got, To Me, Love Me. I saw it come in and I just wrapped it and put it under the tree. So then the day of, I was like, wow, you had already seen what everything looked like.
I had to make sure that it was like what I ordered and everything.
You could have returned it after Christmas Day.
Oh yeah, hats come flat, right? They come like completely flat. I had already like steamed them, curved them, put pins on them and everything, put them under the tree. They were all ready to go.
Okay, I have a serious hot topic. Are you ready?
Oh my God. Really? Like we've been gone for 2-3 months. You're coming in hot.
Wait till you hear what it is. It's very controversial. What are your top 5 favorite chips?
Well, I don't eat many anymore, but if I was to like bang out my top 5, okay.
Give them to me.
Okay, I'm just going to like wing this right now. So you've got Doritos jalapeno, the green bag,
Yeah.
like, without a doubt.
Is that number 1 or is that number 5?
At this stage in life, I'd probably maybe put that number 1 or 2. And then I'd probably, so the other day,
Yeah.
I grabbed a bag of Covered Bridge salt and vinegar. Covered Bridge is so underrated. It's like you're eating like a real potato that's sliced and baked. Like there's like
very at the moment choice.
No. I've been really into salt and vinegar the last couple
Your
years.
whole life?
No,
You
couple
can't-
years, the last couple years.
Okay.
So I'm going in no particular order of the first 2. It's jalapeno Doritos, Covered Bridge salt and vinegar. Those are interchangeable. Then I might go Lay's ketchup, just a classic.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening here.
Then I'd probably jump back to the Dorito bandwagon and throw a Cool Ranch in there, I'd say.
You do not love Cool Ranch the way I do.
That's why it's number 4.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why it's number 4. And then my last one's going to be Miss Vicky's cracked pepper and lime.
Oh my God. I feel like you can judge a person a lot on their on their chip selection.
That's an exquisite collection of chips.
Okay, so let's go through it one more time. You said Dorito jalapeno cheddar. Let's see if I got this right. Covered Bridge salt and vinegar.
Yeah.
Lay's ketchup chip.
Yeah.
Dorito Cool Ranch.
Yeah.
Covered Bridge. No, Miss Vicky's cracked pepper and lime.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
you
feel
impressed
like
at how well I remember that?
I feel like that's a well-rounded mix though. You've got like your like, you know, you've got your kind of like immature ketchup chip in there, but then you have your like elevated palate cracked pepper and lime. Like,
So for those of you that don't know, my nickname is Chip Sweatpants. And this was derived from 2014, when we were up at the cottage. Matt and I had just gotten together and my brother was there and a couple of our friends and we had such a fun weekend. And I was named Chip Sweatpants because of my love for chips and my love for sweatpants. It's very accurate. It adds up. So I take my chip game very seriously. And just for the record, when I think of the best chip, to me, it's not so much about the taste. I mean, that's something, sure. But it's about what are you going to sit down and eat? You can't stop. Like I'm talking like you could eat that whole bag, no problem. And for you, it's those 5.
yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So do you want to
So if that is part of the criteria, what can you not stop eating? I don't think ketchup would be 3.
Okay.
Because I have to stop eating ketchup eventually. The cracked pepper and lime one, I could eat the whole bag.
That's a very unpopular one, I think, for people. Like I don't think they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I know the one well. That's a random chip, but it is good.
It's really good. Yeah. Ask Kyle what her favorite chip is. That would be one of the ones she'd say for sure.
Yeah.
Same.
All right,
Okay.
so-
What's your bracket here? Like, you're so excited.
Well, I was thinking about this the other day, and I think for me, one chip that I simply cannot stop eating, no matter what, is Ruffles sour cream and onion. Okay,
it's a
so
great
I'm going
chip.
Ruffles sour cream and onion.
That's also your brother's favorite chip.
We talked about this the other day, actually, because we were talking specifically about chips, and he's moved on. So that's a bit disappointing, but he's moved on to, I forget what kind it is. It's not a Ruffle. He says maybe it's the Old Dutch. There's something that he claims has different like ridges and is more wide versus the Ruffles very like close together with the Ruffles.
Yeah.
Is it Old Dutch?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is Old Dutch.
And he says it changes the whole chip.
Yeah, it would.
Sure. So I'm going sour cream. Yeah. And then I'm also going to go Fritos.
Fritos slap. They're good.
No, but I think I'm going Fritos barbecue hoops. Well, maybe not the hoops. Maybe just the regular, not hoops. And then I'm going Lay's barbecue.
Lay's
I know.
barbecue.
I know. It's one of those ones where you're like, but like I can't stop eating it. Do I have a booger in my nose?
No, I'm just thinking Lay's barbecue's so lame.
No, it's not. It's not lame. I just can't stop eating it.
Okay, let me ask you something. What about the barbecue from Canadian Tire? Is that better?
Oh, what brand is that?
It's nothing. It's called like Big Al's
Those
or
are
something.
so good. Yeah, see, this is such a difficult topic for me, but it really excites me to hear other people's favorite chips.
Your top 3 right now? It's a ratchet selection of chips.
Excuse me?
Keep going.
How dare you use the word ratchet, first of all, with my chip selection and just in general. That word is not in 2023.
No, it's not 23 anymore. It's back for forward.
That word's not in 2024. What is
I wouldn't have said it if you didn't say that you judge a person by their chips. If I was reading your chip selections on a piece of paper right now with like no face and no name, I'd be like, man, it's a questionable selection of chips.
Keep going. Cracked lime and pepper in there.
Yeah, I would.
Where was I? Was I on 3? Then I'm gonna go Dorito. But the thing is, Dorito could have its whole own episode. Really, you could talk about. You could talk about
the Dorito.
There's so many different kinds, and I like them all for different reasons. Usually, it's a Cool Ranch for me, but like you said, Cool Ranch, so now I feel like I can't.
No, you have
because I also love the bold ones, and I also love the jalapeno cheddar. Like Doritos are so delicious.
Okay. Sure, let's wrap up the chip thing.
Sorry, and then I think I'm gonna go hickory sticks. Fritos, hickory sticks, sour cream and onion.
Just when I'm questioning your whole existence over your chip selection, you just totally redeemed yourself with the hickory sticks.
Man,
that's a curveball.
See, I gotta wonder if a lot of people's chips. Okay, I will wrap this up. But if a lot of people's chip selections are also based off nostalgic reasons, there was always hickory sticks in my house growing up, and like I can't. We've talked about this before. I cannot eat a sandwich without a side of chip. I physically can't.
No, I know you can't.
I won't eat the sandwich until there's chips beside it.
Oh my God, our whole marriage was on the rocks one time when I went in like 6 months ago to Kelly's Deli and bought a sandwich and came out with chips. Oh my God, Sharon's got like an actual
You mean came out without chips?
What did I say?
You said with.
Sorry, came out without chips. Like actual tear down your...
No, but I sent you a text and said I wanted chips and a Diet Coke. And do you know what you came out with? No chips and a vanilla Coke.
No, it wasn't vanilla. It was that new Coke, the coffee infused one or whatever.
And then
I had to try it.
And then I was so mad that I made Matt stop at the gas station and get an actual Diet Coke and chips.
Okay. Yeah, so if anyone knows where Kelly's Deli is in Halifax, it's kind of in like the Rockingham area there. And is it an Esso or a Wilson's gas station?
I don't know.
Anyway, if anyone was watching us inside our truck, they'd be like, man, this is like an abusive relationship. It was crazy.
You're saying too
all
much.
The screaming and all this shit going on. And then anyway, so where the gas station is in proximity to Kelly's Deli, it's like literally like 35 feet away. And I like whip in the truck and like take up a handicap spot, or some all angrily getting out of the vehicle. I go in and get your Coke. I'm like, there's your Coke.
No, but let this be a lesson for all.
It's
four
women
males.
in food.
All 4 males that we've said listen to this show.
Shane, what up? Saw your new tat, bro. Looking good.
When somebody, your partner, tells you to get something, get what they say. No, and like
I didn't see the text.
you did.
I did not see the text, or I would have got the chips. I wouldn't have
And
gone
the
and read
regular Diet Coke? No, you wouldn't have. Because you would have come up and been like, oh my God, I got this fun new Coke that we should try. And I've been like, I have what I want in my mind. Make it happen.
I just need to remember to never deviate with you. You don't like going off the beaten path
I
and
like
trying
what I
new
like.
things.
I like what I like.
Yeah, you do.
Especially with food. And in certain...
Is that a female thing? I feel like there's a lot of memes around this.
No, there's memes where it's like you say you don't want to eat and then your husband
the
brings you home
indecisiveness
something, or like
around.
what do you want or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but once you get to a point where you're hangry, you don't know what you want. You just need something.
Yeah, you gotta have something.
Yeah. Exactly.
Anyway, people, we're back. We're back. we're
2 seconds ago, Matt just said, let's not tell everyone we're back.
No, because here's it.
Okay.
We waited 5 minutes, so it's not gonna be weirdly at the start
Okay,
this time,
sure,
like
yeah.
every episode is. We're back, and I feel like we're not going anywhere. Who am I kidding? We're gonna record one more and disappear for half.
That's not true.
No, we're back. We're back.
Yeah.
I keep saying to Sharon, we just got to just jump on and talk about mundane bullshit.
Yeah.
That's the way it is now.
Well, I think for a lot of people, podcasts, I imagine, is when you're like doing things, whether that's like chores or cleaning or driving or whatever, and you just kind of want to hear the noise, you know?
for sure.
It
Share about
doesn't-
people's life a bit.
Right. So what's going on in your life?
So I have something to tell you. I've been waiting to tell. You and I, you and I never shut up. So there's not many like little secrets or anything.
What is it?
Well, it's only a secret I've had for about 12 hours. It's brand new. It's brand new.
I'm actually surprised you kept it for 12 hours.
Yeah, I know.
What
It's
is
a whole
it?
new thing to talk about. So my whole life.
His 39 years. Are you 39 or 38? You're 38, right? Matt and I are 4 years apart. I'm 34. Yeah, okay. So for 2 whole weeks, Matt's 5 years older than me, and I rub it in every time. Which, by the way, I'm turning 35 this year, and in my own personal opinion, I believe it to be a big birthday. Matt said not so much. I disagree. I think 5 increments are a big deal. Anyway, go ahead.
No, but it was the way you were positioning this. Like, what was your 35th supposed to be? You like said something.
No,
You were
because
like,
you had said you would plan something with the kids, maybe, and I was like, you better plan something big.
no, that's not what it was. You had like some big thing. You were like, I'm gonna like go to Switzerland. Or what did you say? You had like some thing for your 35th. I'm like, 35 is not that big of a deal. 40's like,
I think every year
crazy.
that you celebrate being alive is a big deal. But anyway, go. What was the one thing you were gonna say?
True that.
What's your secret?
So it's not something I've been thinking about my whole life. It's maybe something I've thought about maybe like 5 years or something. I've always wondered, what does Viagra actually do?
This is your secret?
Yeah.
That you've been holding on to for 12 hours?
No.
I'm like, this is it?
No.
I was
No,
all
I've been-
excited.
No,
At least I
No,
brought
I've
up
been-
chips.
I've
Like
been-
that was exciting.
I guess Sharon talking about ringalos or whatever.
It's a conversation.
Okay.
I
So-
know every person when I brought up the chips is thinking about their favorite chip. And please drop it in the comments.
Yeah,
I
and
want
as
to know.
I talk about penis pills, they're
Okay,
gonna be
go
thinking about those too.
Sure.
So okay. So there's some
What brought this on?
give me a second. I'm gonna tell you. So doom scrolling last night, just clicking away on my phone. And I've been getting hit with this company. This is not sponsored, by the way. I've been getting hit with the ads from this company called Rocky.
Okay.
Have you ever seen it?
Never.
So you don't see it because you don't have a penis.
Okay.
So I've been getting targeted. Never in my life have I looked up anything to do with a penis.
Okay. Well,
Well.
porn has penises in it. But
Yeah,
anyway.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with modifying my
Okay.
penis, okay?
Okay.
And so, but I am targeted constantly with ads for this Rocky company. And it's how I understand it is like men, there's kind of a barrier between men and getting Viagra and Cialis and stuff because there's probably like the embarrassment of like, oh, like you need
A barrier is in it's difficult to get, or that people are nervous to go and get it?
a little bit of both, probably.
Okay.
Probably a little bit of both. Like
Yeah,
you have
it's
to
a
go
big
into
deal.
a doctor and
It's a
say
big
like,
deal.
I have erectile dysfunction
Yeah.
and go through all that
Sure.
that stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but then also in the last like let's say 10, 20 years, it's become like a major trend for like I'm not gonna name names, but like I had people at my old employment that were taking it like just for shits and giggles because it was more awesome when they took it. Like
Okay.
their penis turned into a hammer and wouldn't go down.
Okay,
Kind of. Okay. So
Sure.
whatever. So Anyway, I keep getting hit with these ads for this Rocky company. And what they do is Rocky is an unknown brand that when it shows up in the mail for you and stuff, that like the UPS guy's not like, ha, 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 here's his box of, it's like secretive.
Sure.
So like, I don't even know why it needs to be secret. I don't know. I don't know why it needs to be, but this is their whole thing is like it comes in an unassuming package and whatever.
Okay.
And so anyway, last night I clicked the ad for once. I clicked the ad last night and I'm like, huh.
Was it on Instagram?
Oh my God, it follows me around everywhere. Okay. And I've never actually clicked it. I just see like Rocky. Yeah. So anyway, I went onto the website last night and started reading about it. I'm like, okay, like what's this all about? So I hovered over the buy button. I was like, man, should I just like order a pack of this or just like try it out and see what it's all about? So anyway, so I spent like 5 minutes on this website last night while you were asleep clicking around. And now I cannot open up my phone without seeing Viagra. It's constant. It's just
so. What'd you learn about it?
What
do the reviews say?
Well, it's fantastic. But then it's one of those things. You know how when you look at anything medicinal, there's always like the side effect thing that they like legally are bound to put out there. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, the side effects are just like, fuck. Like, is it even worth it? What if you're the guy, like, because they're like, if your erection lasts longer than 4 hours, like basically you need to rush to a hospital and like get this dealt with because you could ruin your penis forever and everything. I'm like, man, like, what if I'm a 5-hour erection guy? I got to like rip down to the IWK or whatever and get my penis assessed. Like, I don't know.
I'm trying to think about the whole situation.
So what did you take? Oh, some Rocky pack?
Interesting. And this is totally legal.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Anyway, the whole reason
No, I'm just trying to go through this here. Like, yeah, let's divulge into this. At some point, as you age, you're going to have difficulty. Like, I'm sure you can visualize when you were 16, you had a boner at anything. If you like rubbed your penis by a door by accident, you'd get an erection.
One Spice Girl song.
Yeah, and now it's obviously very different. You're getting older. Like, you're pretty much 40.
Pretty decent.
It's probably why you're getting the ads. No, I'm kidding. But it is a serious subject, I actually think. And I very much so do feel for men that have issues with that. And why are you laughing? It's not funny. Okay, you're going to have to come back and apologize for laughing at whatever you're laughing at. But I feel for people in that situation.
I'm not laughing at people in that situation. Good. I'll clarify in a minute. Keep going.
No, I was just going to say that to feel embarrassed or to feel any sort of way really sucks. Yes. So perhaps this pill, if they do feel uncomfortable or whatever, and they want it to come that way, like I understand why they would do that. Yeah. But obviously people that don't need it shouldn't be taking it and abusing their penis. But like, I don't know. Do they just use it, say like, because Viagra?
It would be like if we were going to have sex night, I would take one of these. Like,
but I've heard of men that took Viagra for fun to see what happened, and they had a boner for like 14 hours, and it was
no, not 14 hours.
Either way, it was so painful that like it was not.
You're going to have an erection for like 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, no thanks. That sounds scary.
Could be incredible though. Yeah. No, the reason I was laughing is just it's the way you handle every subject. Like I'm sitting there like, well, I feel extremely bad for people with ED, but anyway.
But that's just who I am.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, I know. Sorry. No, it's just I love watching how you are as a person. But
because you came in with a funny and I turned it into something serious.
I'm not trying to be funny at all. Actually, I guess I kind of was. It's just the fact that like how Google tracks you with shit.
I feel like every situation in life now can end up being taken seriously. Don't you? And there's people on podcasts that like I've listened to and like they just have straight jokes and like that's their thing. They just don't give a flying F.
Yeah, I know.
But that's just not me. I don't know. And I think it's like you a little bit, but then also you do care a lot. So I think kind of we have this balance, you know?
Yeah, I definitely like straddle that line.
Right. Like if you had a podcast with some other person over here that just also didn't give a shit, I feel like it'd be very different.
No. I have to be careful for sure. I have to be careful of the things that I say, and everybody does. You have to be careful of the energy that you're putting out there. Absolutely. For sure. Like I can't. I think I'm like pretty decent at that. Like you can always tell a lot by a guy if you had a secret camera at a cottage around a bonfire. You're gonna get like the real like with his bros having drinks, like the unfiltered shit.
I think anyone. I think I do the same.
And I feel like my bonfire chats are like moderately controversial, but also like I don't think I'd be embarrassed about many things you'd hear come out of my mouth. say too many bad things. Like nothing I would ever really regret.
Yeah. I find it so interesting, people online versus people in real life.
Why am I doing this with my hands all
I don't know. We got a new
it's like a new
going.
thing I'm doing now that I'm fit. I'm over getting
Do you want to talk about that at all, or will that be a 45-minute conversation?
That's a 45. Next episode. And
Just Matt alone on the mic.
Well.
I am proud of you, though. You look great. And let's just wrap it up in like a teeny little bow of like a 2-minute conversation. What do you want to say about it?
Are we done with the Rocky? Or should I order some peen pills?
I don't think you need it. Or do you?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I'd have to look into the brand to see what the heck
How does that sound?
It's me with my hand. I'm fidgeting. It's this.
It's a bag of hickory sticks. I was like, what does that sound like? It sounds like a mouse chewing a wire or something. What the frick?
I don't think you need it. Personally, I don't think you have a problem getting excited. I think you're excited all the time.
No, what if I was excited longer?
I see what you're saying. I don't think that matters.
yeah, I see what you're saying. Oh my God.
Because I don't think it takes long for you to get excited again. You know?
I don't know. Do I ever get excited again? No. So in my reading last night, and I'm going to forget all the technical terms.
Okay.
But apparently, when a man ejaculates, your body immediately like sends, it's like, I'm going to completely frig this up. It's called like RD5 or something that your body sends to your penis.
Did you just make that up?
No, it was something 5, I think. So there's some chemical inside your body that after you ejaculate, it immediately goes into your penis and allows it to go flaccid.
Huh.
And it's the, yes, wait. So yes, that's what it is. So basically what Cialis and Viagra does is it gets in the way and blocks that chemical from getting to your penis. So post ejaculation, your penis remains hard and you can continue having sex.
So
That's
I don't know
what
why
it
we're on
does.
the topic of orgasms, but while we're here, no, you're right. Talking about that. While we're here,
Should I order some?
no, I'm
ordering it.
I'm thinking about women
No,
and
I'm
how I've had many conversations with them about orgasms because you're like, I don't know how this happens, Sheridan, but every time you're like with your friends, somehow you all talk about like all this sex and everybody's stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, women are just like that. But I've talked a lot to women about like their type of orgasm, and it appears as though there's a bunch of different ones. Like when women tell me that they have multiple orgasms in one sex session, I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, I don't quite understand how, because for me personally, when I have one, it's like I'm basically blackout. Like I'm like, it's so intense, like I see stars, good night, goodbye, I'm done. Like, you know. But then when they explain it to me, that's not how it feels for them. It's very different. So I'm like, so are you even having one? Is there different kinds? Like, I don't know. But where I'm going in the roundabout way with this is that one time I remember, or even when you're a little bit inebriated, let's say, like when we went to the hotel night a couple nights, however long ago that was.
5 days.
And we had sex at the end of the night, and you were so happy because we never do. I always just eat nachos and go to sleep. But I was a little drunk, right?
Specifically
Yeah,
nachos.
I was drunk, right? So I was like less into it almost, that like I probably could have had another one. It's like I feel like your mind and your brain is very much a component of when you're having an orgasm.
It's
I really
everything.
do. Like some people have told me when they're high, they can have an orgasm for like 45 minutes. I'm like, how does that even make sense?
45, a whole episode.
I swear, but I don't know if it's
What?
just like it's crazy. I feel like we should research more about the art of the orgasm because I think it's something pretty serious.
Oh yeah, that's what I need in my search history right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that already won't leave me alone.
So this is the new year, and I don't like to talk much about the new year because I'm personally not a fan of New Year's. Are you?
Like, what do you mean?
Just a concept of like a new brand new year. Do you like that?
I don't understand people that aren't a fan of it.
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. No, because I really don't get the hate for people that create New Year's resolutions.
I can answer it for you very quickly.
Talk about it.
I don't think it's people that hate.
What
people.
is the date? It's the 11th. So we're 11 days into the new year.
I don't think it's people that hate on people that make New Year's Eve or New Year's goals. I think it's internally, if you set goals just to set them for the new year and then you don't attain those goals, it can be very deflating. So I think if you want to set a goal, you go right ahead. But if you are just setting it just because it's New Year's Eve and you feel like you better do something, and then you just get discouraged, like when it doesn't pan out for you.
Isn't that any goal ever?
But there's something with like January 1st where people feel like they have to do that. You feel like you're like, oh, everybody's setting their New Year's goals or New Year goals. I better do the same. Excuse me. And then you just put a bunch of bullshit in there that maybe you don't even believe in and you're just doing it, you know? Like I remember
So that's
being
what
a
you
kid.
would distill this down.
Well,
to.
I remember being a kid and we'd always go up to the cottage and we'd stay with a family across the way and we'd always, they
The
were
Linnebos?
Norwegian. And we had Norwegian dinner and it was this whole thing. It was actually amazing. Of course, I didn't eat anything because I'm a picky, annoying eater, but I'd sit there and eat some bread for however long. It was a big, huge deal. And we'd sit across the table and we'd say every year, our favorite memory of the year, which I loved because I love that you're reflecting on something positive. And then your goals for the next year. And I remember being at the table being like, fuck, I haven't even thought about it. So I just make up some bullshit on the spot. And I was like, I don't even mean that. I remember feeling that way as a kid, you know? And perhaps that's transpired into, you know, my adulthood. I don't know. But I think there's something, like I posted something on my Instagram, year 2024 ins and outs versus goals. So like what's in this year, what's out for you this year. And I like that instead of like, hey, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like they're always such drastic goals that I just think sometimes can be hard for people. And then when it doesn't pan out, it's just depressing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm also not opposed to the idea of setting new goals and that's exciting.
You had a water there.
No, this is my White Claw. This is not a
Ooh,
water.
you're having a White Claw over there. Yeah, I don't know. I think people making goals at any point in time is
Absolutely.
commendable.
Sure.
And what am I the non-controversial one on this topic, Sheridan?
You're going to be controversial?
No, I'll see people say sometimes you're like, screw your like New Year's resolutions, make your resolutions now and all that stuff. I'm like, man, if people want to start the new year with a clean slate, then like I think that's great.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to think of an analogy for this. It would be like, it would be like running a 10K marathon where there's like a clear marker at the start line and a clear marker at the end, and then thinking that you can just walk in and go 1.5 kilometers in, and it's like you would start at the start line. You know what I mean? So it's almost like January 1st is just like a clean slate for people. So when they're like, they can say I started on January 1st, and it just gives them that little bit of a thing. I've never really made New Year's resolutions. Like I kind of go into the new year with like ideas on things that I'd like to accomplish or whatever, but it's not like I'm like, this is the year I do this or this. Like I kind of am kind of a do it now kind of person, but I don't think people should be like, I don't know.
Well, I'm
deflated.
not saying that there's anything wrong with setting New Year. Oh my God, I've said that 100 times. New Year resolutions and goals. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just don't think there's also anything wrong with not doing that. And I actually saw a reel the other day that it was like, listen, like this, I'm sorry, but I'm looking outside right now. This is truly like, it's just not an enjoyable time for us here in Canada. Like, it's not like I'm like, I have pep in my step. I've never felt better. Like I am thriving. That is not how I feel. It's not. And I don't think many people feel that way in January, February, March. I think it's like doomsday, you know, and we're just trying to get through it. And then spring comes and then it's lighter outside and then everyone's happy and flourishing, you know? So I just think there's a lot of pressure on the idea of the new year. And I think if you want to do it, go ahead. And if you don't, no big deal. Don't feel guilty about not setting goals. And if you do set them that's great.
Well, I think as a general rule of thumb too, when you're setting an outline for yourself and creating goals, you have to make them realistic.
Absolutely.
You have to. Like set yourself up for success and do like smaller incremental goals. Like these people that create something where they know that there's like a 60% probability they won't be able to actually do it, then all you're going to get is failure at the end. Like set yourself up with things that you know you can accomplish and push yourself like almost to the limit, but make it for sure you could do it. So you get a victory at the end and then set another one and push yourself harder, like with anything in life.
I think even little goals are wonderful too. Like even if it's something, instead of saying something like, hey, I just keep losing weight. You keep using weight because I feel like that's almost what every person says on New Year, in the New Year. Oh my God. In the New Year.
Oh my God.
But, you know, instead of saying that, say, I'm going to drink XYZ amount of water.
Yeah.
You can attain that, right? Drink your water. You got this.
It's so hard.
No, I know.
Oh, yeah. I was talking to my fitness instructor this morning, Nick, and he was saying, here I was, and I was like, oh, yeah, Nick, and I'm crushing like, you know, close to 100 ounces of water a day. He's like, it's not even near enough, bro. You gotta do and I was like, what? He's like, oh yeah, you probably need like 130, 140, 150. And I'm like, I'm only 2/3 there. I'm like, geez, I kind of inflated the number when I told him to begin with. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Remember the other day, I've been taking like months of jot notes just because we have not talked on record in a while.
We're not talking about that anymore.
No, so I have like all kinds of like great stuff written down.
What'd you write down?
Okay, so this is one that we jotted down.
You know how sometimes you say that and it's actually not good at all. So I really hope.
Do you check people out? It's impossible for a man not to check a woman out. I wrote that down the other day while drunk at the hotel. Do you want to talk about it?
Sounds like you do. Sounds like you do.
Okay, so the other day, Sharon and I, inebriated, like definitely, I don't even know how many drinks you have, but it was ridiculous. Like we definitely got pretty turned up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then anyway, Sharon and I were sitting there having a little nightcap, and the waitress came over, and like it's.
And then you got so mad because I just said you were an old man. Remember? I was like, Matt, you're like the old guy now.
Oh
my!
my!
And then you're like, I'm going upstairs.
We'll get into that in a minute. That's actually a great segue to that. But no, but this beautiful waitress comes over. And like Sharon and I are sitting there, we got our Aperol spritz. And you couldn't get a tighter shirt.
Sure. She was wearing a little dress.
Oh, it was a dress?
Yeah,
it was
so
tight.
You didn't check her out that much.
It was tight.
Yeah.
And you could see everything.
Sure.
And anyway, so as clearly checking her out.
You are.
It's impossible not to. Mm. It's impossible.
For you.
No, because here's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
If a man, and I'm generalizing, but I'm just going to come out and say it. Like as though it's factual. If your man is sitting there pretending that he's not even thinking about checking them out, he's lying. He's lying. 100%, 99%. Maybe there's like the one.
Let me ask
you line 100 guys up. There might be the one guy that just like. But even then, you'd have like. How are you not gonna just like a quick little peek?
Step back.
It's impossible.
We went to Antojo's. Oh my God, I realized we're actually like throwing out names. Yeah. And our server at the bar was named James.
Yeah, what up, James?
And Matt, did you not say, didn't you check James out? And I was like, no.
Yep. I checked him out.
Because he had big arms. Like he obviously worked out and stuff. But so I guess the reason why I'm asking that is, do you also expect women every time? Because again, generalizing, usually servers are women, usually. In the industry, I mean, perhaps not.
What the ratio is?
Not necessarily behind the bar, but I think like an actual server that's coming to your table, maybe not. It's just I visualize women, but maybe I could be totally wrong.
No, I think you're probably right.
But whatever. Let's just say, do you expect me to check out every hot guy that comes to the table as well?
I would assume so. I am.
I think no matter what, if somebody's attractive,
they don't even have to be attractive. Could pretty much basically just be anyone.
Right.
You
just check everyone out.
Okay, I might be like more apt to if I find them attractive.
Right. Sure.
But I pretty much like look at people all the time.
Okay.
I feel like I'm losing the point here.
You are. What is your point? That everyone checks everyone out?
Okay. If a woman comes over to you, serving your table, and you find her attractive, it's impossible to not be thinking about a quick up down.
Whether you do it or not.
If your boyfriend or husband is sitting next to you and he didn't, he's thinking about it, is my point.
And I guess my point is, do you believe that women are also feeling that if a man comes over and they don't do the up down? Are you assuming that I'm like, it's impossible?
Well, women are kind of, we've talked about this before. God, here we go.
No.
First step back.
Nope.
Right?
Nope. Shut it down. Oh, yeah. Shut it down.
All right, guys. See you next week. No, but women. I think women are checking all women and men out.
That sure,
Because all women are like.
Are you assuming that every time a man or a woman comes over to the table, and if they're attracted, that it's also impossible for me not to check them out? And if I'm not, then I must be thinking about it. Is what you're insinuating?
Well, I was sticking to my sex, but
I know, but I'm asking you.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Is it impossible for you?
No, not at all.
But you checked that girl out the other day, didn't you?
Well, yeah, sure.
And you get the
She
pass
walked
because
away.
you're a woman. If
No.
a man does, it's like I'm a dog, but you got a pass.
It's hard. It's when
You gave her the full up down.
Well, no,
I know
I
you
didn't.
did.
When-
But then you guys get to hide behind this guise of like, oh, I like her shoes or something. It's like, yeah, okay.
Oh
You know,
my God.
she looked good.
Do you have another point you want to bring up?
No,
This is
I
your
know,
one and only point.
I had the Rocky thing. No, I think it's impossible
For you.
for men.
I said. Okay.
We need some comments on this one. This is a reel. We're putting it up today. No, I want to know.
Right now.
I want to know. I want answers.
Well,
I want the men to step up and take some responsibility here. Are you thinking it or are you not?
Do you know what else I think, though? I think oftentimes you assume that all men are the same as you. They're not.
I think more are than you give credit.
Sure, but I'm saying you have this assumption that you're all the same. You're not. And
Well, we all get painted with the same brush on every reel.
well, you're
and
doing
YouTube
it right now,
short.
buddy. You're
Oh,
doing it right now.
Okay.
That's you.
That's the point of life.
Sure.
What if you can't even make an assumption about anything in life if you can't generalize a little bit? I'm a fan of stereotypes. I am. That's life.
Loves a good stereotype.
That's life.
Oh my.
No, because that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, we make assumptions about anything. I'm in the world of branding. The purpose of my job is to trick you into buying things and shit based off assumptions that you were trained to think of your whole life.
You're right.
That's my job.
How are you feeling about your job lately? Do you feel motivated?
Oh,
coming
we're
into
not
the
getting
new year?
off this yet.
No, we are, because I don't want to talk about it more. You'll make it a real, move along.
No, because here's the thing. Then you were like, you're too old to look at her and hit me with that one.
Let's come back with part B.
Hit me with that one.
You were so butthurt.
I'm so old now. No, because I always, up until basically recently, I've been able to check out anyone.
Yeah, no.
Now I'm like the old idiot.
Yeah.
The old guy. The old weirdo.
I actually remember
God.
my dad having a couple of friends when I was a teenager, and I remember being like, ew, they're weird and old and gross.
Names.
Drop the name. And they didn't care. They were like, oh, whatever. Like, because I don't know. I don't even want to get into that. But they found me attractive at a young age, and I remember thinking they're fucking weird old creeps. So don't be that guy.
God, it's hard
Well,
not to.
I do. I
like, okay, like, sure. How she said she was in her, oh my God, we're getting real personal here, but I think she said she was in like her 4th year or something.
Yeah, which would
so
have
we're
made her
talking like 22,
22,
23, in around there.
which
and
is
like,
fine.
And so like, but because I'm 38, it's getting to the point where it's like, bro, that's getting a little weird. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
It is.
So
and
it's
I'm
funny
there now, but I
because-
still feel kind of fly. I got my J's on. Am I fitted in there?
Well,
like, do
yeah.
I get a pass? No. No, I don't.
No, you don't.
I'm a creep.
No, you're not.
I'm a married creep.
Matt, you're with me. You're not a married creep. You're not
No,
like sitting alone at the bar, just like checking girls out and being a weirdo. That's not it. But I think you do also have to, and I will say this without a shadow of a doubt, that girls nowadays do appear much older than they are.
Yes. Yeah.
And I will say, like, back when I was a teenager, like, it would kind of work as, like, if you had huge boobs, you looked older than you were. That was about it, you know? Now it's like people have the makeup and they have the outfits, and it can be really difficult to discern how old somebody is. I get that. I understand. I can understand that. So I don't, like, you could have easily just as well probably thought that girl was 28. Maybe?
I didn't really think much about the age, but I wasn't sitting there going, as I take a gander,
Right.
I'm a weirdo. Like, I wasn't
Right.
thinking that.
Right.
I'm just like, this is just normal behavior. And then upon reflection, I'm like,
Yeah,
wow.
totally.
Getting old.
You're right. That's
Getting
it.
old?
Yeah,
It's
so
crazy.
start checking out the 40-year-olds instead.
Yeah, well, man.
Because, man,
Them
they're
too.
hot.
Oh,
I'll tell you that.
damn.
Okay, so back to your work.
Yeah, it's not like a total. Oh yeah, it's a total dog. Oh my God, I'm not at all.
Cancel. No.
Yeah,
Matt's
man.
like, I need to re-listen to this episode.
Still going with his hands over here like he should be a drummer.
No, I get it. I do.
Is there anything more on this point? I feel like it's got legs.
I think you're just like, should we end it? Can I redeem myself?
Yeah. No, you're right.
There's a new co-host next week. It's not Matt.
Yeah, it's James.
It's James. Oh my. Okay. How's work going, Hen?
Why are you asking me that?
I'm just wondering if you're inspired in the new year. Because I'm hoping you'll ask me.
How's work going for you?
No, you answer me first. Are you feeling inspired? Like, yeah. I remember I find a lot of times, well, at least the last couple of years after we've had the holiday break, we're like excited and looking forward to the new year. And, you know, we're feeling creative and inspired. And I personally didn't really feel that way. And I don't think you overly felt that way either.
No, I mean, I feel pretty good with work right now. I mean, the nature of my work, it just kind of, some days are good and some days are bad anyway. Like being creative is such a weird job. And you're in the same field, so I'll talk about this like I'm talking about both of us. It's a really weird thing. Like I've used this analogy before where it's like if you're a carpenter,
yeah,
and you're building a deck, when you put the last board in and put the last screw in the board, the deck is done. Like you knew what you were doing, the deck is done, and it's done. There's nothing more to do to it. When your job is to come up with ideas every day and be creative, there's no end. It's all so subjective. There's no end to it. Like if I'm working on a painting or designing a beer can or anything, it could always be a little bit better.
You don't feel that way about a deck? Couldn't they always make the deck a little bit better?
No, but I mean, like the deck is done when the deck is done.
Okay,
like, okay, sure. Then you could come through and like add a granite accent and sure. But you know what I'm getting at here? Like some people's job, like if you work at Subway and the sandwich is done, the sandwich is done.
Right.
Like when you're in the creative industry, it like any video, any movie, anything, like you'll get some of the best directors in the world that will look back at their films, look at their shots, and be like, oh my God, if the camera was 10 feet lower there, it would have accentuated Vin Diesel on the cliff. That like. It can always be better. And so it's draining. It's exhausting. It never, ever, 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 ever ends. Like, you know that with your work. It's like with the stuff we shoot for you and stuff, and we look back 6 months later, it's like, oh my God, that sucks compared to what it could have been. Like now, how we are now and whatever. And so I don't know, the nature of my work has a lot of ebbs and flows anyway, but I feel pretty good right now. I feel pretty inspired. And I think the work that I'm doing right now is really good work. So yeah, I'm feeling good.
That's right.
How are you feeling? You're feeling a little deflated, aren't you?
I mean, I was thinking about this the other day and how long I have been doing Instagram for, and it would be around 7 years. And I mean, just in a relationship, when you get the 7-year itch, I'm sure you get it too in your career. I also think like right at this moment, Instagram is taking a big shift and is less. Like when I think back on it and how I came to be with nice photos, there was no stories, there was no reels, there was no nothing. It was just you took a nice photo and you wrote a long caption. And now it's a lot more less pretty pictures and more like documenting or I don't know. I just find it's taken such a massive shift from what it was at the beginning. And you, of course, have to always like continue adapting and like going with the flow of what's next. But I feel like I almost feel like I'm one of the OGs that like started it. Like I feel like sponsored ads weren't a thing when it first started. And when I got my very first one, I was like, oh my God, this is happening. You know, so it's just hard, I think, to change. Like now when I'm one of like the old people that have been here for a while and I'm like trying to evolve and like fit in with the new people and what they're doing, you know, and what's making them blow up and all like the new, you know, faces of Instagram and people on TikTok and stuff. And I don't know.
Oh, well, Sheridan, don't forget though that as you age,
right,
your audience is aging as well.
No, I know.
They're along for the ride with you.
Right.
And like, oh my God, I've used the word analogy 3 times now, but here's a reference for you. And I always love this reference because I use it in my work a fair bit too, where it's like, you look at a guy like Eminem, he's really hard to listen. His new stuff is really hard to listen to now because I feel like he's stuck in his 20s. It's like he never really grew up. You know what I mean?
Or did he try? Is he trying? It's just not happening.
No, it's just like he's kind of stuck in his old ways. It's like he's still using the same slander and slang and everything that he used to use. But all of us are 40 now that used to listening, bro. Like we're not, we don't hate our moms and like, you know, I don't know. It's
Well,
just,
some still do. But
okay. So where I'm going with this is like, you look at the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
The first Harry Potter movie is made for kids.
Right.
It's a kid's movie. The 8th Harry Potter movie is made for teens and adults. It's like, it's a scary, like hardcore movie. And like, they understood that as they continue producing these films and maturing, their audience is maturing at the same time. So if they made their 8th movie a kid's movie, sure, you're going to get your diehards that go to see it. But I mean, like, if I would have, like, let's say 8 movies, let's say it spanned across 12, 16 years. People that were watching the first one at 12, they're now almost 30 years old watching it.
Right.
Like, so with your work, Sheridan, don't forget, like, you don't need to behave like you did 8 or 9 years ago to fit in with people. Your audience are right where you are in life. They're your age. They've gone through what you've gone through. And the things that you talk about, being yourself, resonate with the people that choose to follow you and look at what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. I think, you know, the other day when I asked you in the car and I said, do you feel fulfilled like with your work? I think for me, I really hate the fact that my work is validated by engagement. Mm-hmm. I think that sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
I think when you're a teacher, and I mean, I can say that because I was in the classroom, I felt validated when a child solved a math problem. Like that was fulfilling to me. Like that felt nice. I felt like I was making a difference. And now it's like I'm posting a reel, and if I don't get over a certain amount of engagement, I'm like, ew, I suck. Like the mentality of that is actually very shitty and very negative.
Hide your likes and shit.
But it's just the idea in general. Even if you hide your likes, that's still the reality of what my job is. And I'm saying that, yes, I'm fulfilled in the sense that like people feel like they can connect to me, and I love my little besties chat, and I love that people can listen to this and be like, oh, like, you know, I feel closer connection. That's great. But I don't feel like if I really like distill it down to what I do, that I'm like, you know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah. Sometimes in life, certain people's jobs and what they choose to fill their time with is hard to, it can be hard to discern what value you're adding to the world. Mm-hmm. For sure. And your job would be one of those jobs that it's not.
This isn't life-changing. If I lose my Instagram. If you're a doctor,
it's very obvious.
Of course.
If you're a doctor, it's obvious what value.
If I lose my Instagram, people be like, where'd Sheridan go? And then 6 months later, they won't give a fuck.
Okay, sure. But it's very, very important. And the younger in life that you realize this, the better. It's extremely important in life to recognize the value that you offer the universe. Mm-hmm. You have to do it. It's so important. And I'm having deja vu. I feel like I talked about this before, but when I had Reiki done, I had it done when I was, I think I was 18 or 17, 16. Maybe I was 16 because I think I worked at McDonald's at the time. And like, I worked at McDonald's, and I remember talking to the Reiki teacher, the woman that was doing Reiki, about this very thing where I was like, I'm having a hard time. Like, I feel like I have no purpose right now. Like I'm flipping burgers at McDonald's. And she was like, Matthew, you're 16 years old and you're helping to feed people. Like regardless, if you don't see the value in it, if you do a good job making a Big Mac and hand someone the fries where they're not all falling out of the cup, it seems stupid and seems small, but that little thing goes a long way to some people. And it seems ridiculous talking about McDonald's like this, but like it goes a long way. You know when you get a burger and it's just made right? You know when you get the bad one and you're like, man, do you even care?
It's all sloppy everywhere. You can't even eat it. Yeah.
But when you get someone that does a good job, it's just like a little bit of happy vibrations going on, and then you pass it on to the next person. And like with your work, Sheridan, even if there's 1 or 2 people out there that you made a positive impact on their life, that's the value that you're adding, is by being a transparent person when most people won't. Most people are afraid to be themselves, and you make yourself vulnerable every day of your life and be yourself online so people can find solace in their own lives and realize that we're all the same. We're all struggling. We're all dealing with children that have ADHD and problems at school and crying kids, and Sage is almost 4 and still pees in a diaper. Like, we're all like these, they seem small in the grand scale of the world right now, but everyone's going through this shit. And you have to understand that you even doing something as simple and
Matt's air quoting.
And people that aren't watching, okay, but like these things that seem so insignificant to you could mean a lot to some people. And you've seen that in the messages that we get in the inbox on this show.
I know.
Where we've made
and
a
I
difference.
hear your point 100%, and I hear you. But I guess at the end of the day, it's about me as well.
Yes.
And do I feel fulfillment, right?
Yeah.
And I suppose I'm just saying that, and I feel like I've been struggling with this for quite a while, and then I just kind of like move along and continue with the day-to-day because it's what I know at this point. Like, I've heard of people that say they make a career change and it's like so scary and so huge. And you're like, oh, well, you just changed careers. But I get it now. Like, I'm in here and I'm like, I can't even fathom making a career change because here I am doing well. Everything's kind of lined up. I have my agencies. Like, I can't imagine just being like, I'm going to go do this now, right? Like, it's a big deal, especially when, like, in our economy, like, everybody's struggling financially and, we have debt to pay and things like this, and things are just the way they're going. Like, I can't imagine just stepping back and being like, never mind. But I guess this is the year where I try and find fulfillment in other things. But then it can be so difficult because I'm trying to allocate my time to all these different places. And I mean, even just me being a mom, I feel fulfillment in that. But I don't know. I guess I'm just going through the motions.
I think you have to ask yourself, what do you want out of life? Like, what is life? What is the purpose of it to you?
See,
what is it?
And I don't think it's me being, I think like Carla came down over Christmas. She always does. And she told me about this guy that she's reading a book. It's actually her friend's partner. And he didn't go on the internet for a whole year. Nothing on the internet. Not even just Instagram, nothing. So like even when he was
Who's this? Carla's what?
Carla's friend's partner. And so
a year with no internet.
And this was during COVID
this is
too, I
person's
think.
job.
Yeah, so I'm not sure, but he didn't need the internet for a whole year. And like obviously he ran into issues with like, when he was trying to like book something and they were like, you need to do this. I can't print you out something. Like it was a bus ride or something. But the idea of not being online, like when she told me that, I was like, oh my God, that sounds so good. Like, and it really does. Like I heard that and I was like, fuck, like, man. And just even yesterday when Kai and I were lying on the floor, like when you came in and we were just like lying there, the urge for me to grab my phone is so ridiculous. And I hate it. I hate that. I hate that we wake up and we're in a society where we grab our phone right away. Like, don't you remember when you were a kid and you would just like get up and move on with your life? Now
I'd go down to another vice and put Astro Boy on.
You take a shit and you have to take your phone with you to scroll. The idea of actually taking a dump without your phone is just mind-boggling.
Well, but before you would pick up an Archie book or a friggin'
sure, but isn't that
something?
But that's, in my opinion, probably something a little bit better.
Why? Now if I want to read Archie, I'll do it. Why?
I mean, I guess
I know the point. I'm just playing devil's advocate because I can agree with you too.
I don't want to be one of these like grown-up adults that's like, in our generation, like I fucking hate when they say that, because in my mind, like in my childhood where I didn't have the internet, I didn't have this, like I'd be outside playing all day and then you come in, and I mean there's like pluses and negatives to both, right? But I enjoyed that. And like even with Kaya, like I noticed last night she didn't really want to go on her iPad. Did you notice that? She was kind of like farting around, asking to play games, lying with me on the floor, and we had fun.
What the heck was last night? Where was I?
You went to go get Sage in the storm.
And, that's what I was doing.
And she was reading her book. And I was like, this is so nice to see her doing something other than playing Roblox, So I guess maybe I'm just over the idea of being online. Sorry, guys, here we are.
Yeah.
No, but
anyway, here's our show online. Promote it online on Instagram. Make free reels. Get the episode up.
One thing that
subscribe.
One thing that I think that I'm going to do this year and that I'd really like to do, and I know it's not easy because my job doesn't really work this way, is that I'd like to try hard to have working hours, whether that be 9 to 5.
You're going to hear all those taps.
Whether that be 9 to 3 when the kids come home, and then don't have my phone on the weekend unless I'm just like happy to take photos of the kids and stuff. But I think for me that's really important because otherwise I just get obsessed. Yeah. And I think you're just as guilty for it too. If we throw on a movie within 15 minutes, you're back on phone.
Unless it's a banger.
But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like we're so obsessed with our phones.
Yeah.
And I think it can have such a negative like impact as well, especially for somebody like myself that is online, that works off of validation of other people. And I do. I post up a reel, and if it gets like whatever, I'm like, oh, I suck. Nobody likes me. Like, what kind of mentality is that? And everybody does it. Everybody. Oh, yeah. Even if they have 50 followers and they post something up and nobody sees it or likes it, you have that like, sucky. And then if you post something and it's fire, you're like, fuck yeah, I'm so cool. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I just don't, I hate it. And it's everything in my world. And so I don't know how I'm going to.
Well, you live in North America. It's a life that we
But
live
I mean,
here.
also in my world, like very specifically in my world. Like, sure. Like you and Dose have a great agency. Like everything was great. You guys are doing well. If you post something on your Instagram and it gets 14 likes, you don't really care because you're still off on your computer making all your other stuff, having your phone calls with other people. Yeah. But that is my whole world. That's my life.
Yeah.
And I need to find fulfillment in other places. And
I
need to not.
It comes back to asking you, what is the point of your life? Like if you ask me.
Do you want to know what mine is?
I'm going to answer mine.
Okay, sure.
So the point of my life, I think, if I haven't written this down anywhere, but I would think that it is to fall in love with an amazing person.
Right.
I wanted to create humans, and I wanted to be a present father. I really wanted to spend as much time as I can with my kids. I really, really enjoy spending time with my kids. I want to be a friendly neighbor. I just want to be like a good brother. No, but like these are the things. What are you thinking about how the neighbors drive me nuts? Hey, I always
listen
offer
if they're listening.
Listen. Hey, if the neighbors have look. We got some weird ass neighbors sometimes. But look, I'll say right now that I have always offered a hand to the neighbors. I've pulled so many cars out of ditches, cut so many trees in people's driveways. I am a bomb ass neighbor to have, okay? I've been a good guy. And like sure I can get caught up in the money and the business and the hats and the all the fluff of life. But like when I distill it down, it's like I just want to spend more time with you and the kids. So how do you do that in life? How do you do that? You have to have a job that does, and this is probably twofold. I mean, I'm generalizing right now, but like the more money you make, oftentimes is the more hours you put in. But I'm kind of getting to a point now where that's not really the case. I can make pretty good money. I have quite a bit of flexibility in my life, and that now in turn allows me to. Theodore feels sick at school. I can run in and pick him up, spend an hour chat with him, talk to the principal, and like I don't have to call in and let people know that that's happening to me. I like that. I like the fact that if it's a snow day, I'm not working. I'll make up for it later tonight or tomorrow and go sledding with the kids and do that kind of shit. Like that to me is life. That's the purpose of it.
I get it.
So in your world, Sheridan, if you're doing well enough with whatever it is, digging ditches, writing books, whatever it is, if you have gotten to a point, and maybe your life, maybe you want something else, but if you've gotten to a point where you can have a person a partner that you love, a roof over your head, 3 healthy kids that you get to spend time with as much as you want, what the hell else do you want out of this life?
Well, that's the thing though. That's the thing. And
it's give and take. You have to do things sometimes that you don't always like to unlock the rest of the features of life.
But all these people are so like you're looking for these things. I have all these things now, right? I'm a wife. I'm a mom. Have a roof over my head. I have a great job. I mean,
sure you do.
I do. And there's this thing where it's like. That should be enough, right? Like that, and I should be content with that. And like, I very much so envy people that are just content with their life and happy. And those people are certainly out there. Well, they just love what they have and they are grateful for that. And that is good. And that is great. And I guess I'm always wondering, and I mean, I think I've been like this my whole life, but I'm always wondering like, well, what's next? Well, what's happening next? And I don't want to spend my whole life like that. Like by the time where I'm 70, I'm like, man, all I wondered was what's next. And now here I am and I'm 70, right?
Oh yeah.
So you have to try and enjoy that moment. And I mean, this is coming full circle now, but I guess just relating to work and just saying that for me, maybe there's something else. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a career shift, but I'm saying like again, we've talked about this before. This kind of fell into my lap in a weird roundabout way. It's not like I hopped on Instagram now or a couple years ago where I was like, I'm going balls to the wall. This is what I want to do. I love this. I love everything about it. Like I see other people doing this. This is what I want to do. That didn't happen. It just kind of like snowballed into what it is now. Right. And some people absolutely adore it. They do. They love being online. They love the creative aspect of it. They love all of these things. And I'm just saying, like, if I think back on it, like even when at Christmas, I went into the kids' school and did Green Christmas, which is like, I actually, by the way, side note, think this is the coolest thing that our school does, that basically everybody brings in like very barely used or new things to the gym. They donate them. And then the kids bring like $5 to $10 and they're able to go around with their class and pick out things for their family, sisters, brothers, parents, grandparents, whatever. And then people are in charge of wrapping it. And then the kids go on their merry little way. When I tell you that was the most fun I've had, like in years, I genuinely mean it. I got to spend time with the kids. I was helping them out. Like I felt fulfilled. Like that was a day where I came home and I was like, oh my God, I loved that. Like my heart felt full, you know? Do I feel that when I do a reel about my outfit? No. And that's where I need to try and understand.
Okay.
I'm just telling.
Okay, there's 2 points that I want to make here. I want to jump in because I really got pee and we've been on here a while.
Okay,
go. Yeah, I've been on here a while. Wow, this is that's about an hour. I'm trying to think of how to summarize this. I love the fact that you long for more. I think that dreaming and having aspirations is one of the greatest things you can have in life, is sometimes not just being permanently content and exactly in the moment. I can flip-flop on that. I think you need to be content in the moment, but you need to strive for more because that's kind of what makes humans humans. If we all just sat around and did nothing because we were happy, nothing, there would be no progression. You have to. So you know, I think that's like, write your book you keep talking about. Write your book. It'd be so amazing. But I'm also saying that at the very least, appreciate how blessed your freaking life is.
I know.
My God.
I know that.
We are so privileged and so lucky and so everything. It's crazy, man. Our lives are so amazing. So at the very least, love that and then just strive for more. But don't beat yourself up too much. Our life is so wholesome and so good.
I think the more I talk about it, the more I realize it's not necessarily fulfillment in like writing a book or like doing something to feel like I'm not the type of person where I'm like, and I wrote a book and that's not me. I'm like, I want to be around people and I want to help people that way. That's who I am. And I feel that way when I'm connected to certain people on Instagram and we have conversations, or if I'm able to help out in any sort of way, that brings me joy versus me posting, like I said, a clothing reel, you know? So I think it's just me. The more I talk about it and the more I think about it, it's like, you know what, maybe me even going and volunteering somewhere once a week just to feel that. Like there's some people that need that connection with other people, and I think that's me. And I think my job can be very lonely. Like I love you and I love hanging out with you at home, but I need to feel like I'm doing more, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, I love you. I have to pee too.
Yeah,
we'll be back next week.
I wonder what it is. What's it going to be?
I don't know.
All right, we're back. We're back.
Okay.
Are we? I think.
It's the
All right.
Two
Peace.
Gems Podcast.